Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tattoo Homewreckers, a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. My name is Callista, and this is
Gaia.
And today we are talking about therapy. Guess who's back? It's this one, me. I think a few episodes ago I did say that I really wanted to get back into it, and it took me a few months, but finally back. I found a therapist, and I just wanted to talk about how to find the perfect therapist for you. Obviously, there's no such thing as perfect, but you know what I mean. Our past experiences with therapists, and how to break up with one, and all the stigmas around not going back to therapy, going back to therapy, not doing therapy at all, etc., etc.
Doing self-therapy.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Self-therapy. But I guess I just wanted to start us off on why I went back. And a few episodes ago, if you guys have been tuning in, you know that we have been talking about narcissists a lot. And so I got out of a situationship, which was pretty, I would say, obviously I don't want to armchair diagnose or anything like that. It's hard to diagnose a narcissist because they never want to go get help. But
is it hard to diagnose when you're a therapist?
Ooh, piping hot tea. So I went back to therapy because I've been healing from that, and I felt like I hit a huge roadblock. Although I felt like I was doing better, eating better, working out more, drawing more, on the inside, I just really didn't feel like I was getting any better at all. And so all of my outside sources, Dr. Ramani, podcasts, all that stuff, they were really helpful at first, but it came to a point where none of them were really alleviating any of the mental symptoms I was having.
Well, can I interject there? I think they also helped illuminate the situation.
Yeah.
And more so how to extract yourself from that situation, how to go no contact. It was, I feel like those resources were definitely helping you with the
initial.
the initial how to get you out of that situation.
Yes, for sure. And it was super helpful. Absolutely. And it helped a little bit afterwards too. But yeah, like you said, it was mostly a kickstart to getting out. And now that I'm on the other side of things, I just, again, really feel like my spark has just been gone, which is really just a scary place to be in. It reflected in everything. It reflected especially in my workouts. Even though I was working out more consistently, I just didn't have that intensity or that drive that is really a core part of who I am, I think.
Well, and to be clear, the rest of us could see it too.
Yeah.
That your shine was definitely gone.
Yeah.
And it came back a little bit after you ended things, because while that was happening, it was pretty fucking brutal to watch you just diminish as a person as this person just systematically broke you down. So it came back a tiny bit, but definitely not all the way back.
Yeah, my heart is definitely still heavy talking about it. It doesn't feel good. And I just, going back to therapy definitely helped. I really did luck out, just because it's rare that you do that initial, appointment with the therapist and it works out and you guys groove really well. And I had just been kind of talking to her about why I was there and I guess my, again, symptoms, that I just lacked drive, motivation. I didn't have my energy. I didn't have my spark is what I say. I just lost it, and my self-confidence has just been gone. My self-esteem is just not good either. And I really did feel like I got my life force sucked out of me. Just through the experience I was having, or experiences that I had faced with this person. And within 5 minutes, she had told me, again, not to armchair diagnose, but it does, all of your symptoms are incredibly parallel with people who have suffered from narcissistic abuse. And I cried and I cried and I cried because I just, even though we did a podcast on this, I'm at that stage of healing where I really went into that therapy appointment hoping I was wrong. And hoping that I did just make it all up, and hoping that I am the problem, and hoping that it's my fault. It's my fault. That's just how it was.
Which, can I just expand on that a little bit? So the reason why we have that tendency, if you're oh my gosh, I feel the same way. The reason we have that tendency is because we're primed for that since childhood. So it's that idea that we seek out the familial feelings of our first like primary caregiver, whether that's good or bad. If you end up with a dope ass primary caregiver, then great. You look for really healthy relationships.
Right.
But it's repeating those cycles over and over again. So that's why when people talk about generational trauma, that's what generational trauma is. And also for anyone who's like, oh my God, no way, they can't say he's a narcissist. I had a therapist that watched me. If you guys listen to the episode, you know the whole story, but I'll give like a tiny little synopsis of it. Watched me interact with the narcissist in my life that I at that time did not know was a narcissist. I mean, I like kind of knew because you get this like feeling after a long time, but I was raised in it. So I thought that was completely normal. They came in, I was working on a therapist. They came in, had what, and I say this in air quotes, a normal conversation with me. Now I can see that obviously it's not normal, but like there wasn't any yelling, there was no drama, but they just came in, said some stuff, were there for maybe 5 minutes, and then they left. And this therapist told me like, hey, that's not okay. Like the way that they just talked to you, that's not okay. So then she gave me a book, which is,
it was
Will I Ever Be Good Enough?
Oh,
it's the Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers.
Yeah.
Gave me that book. And I felt like somebody had read my diary, and written this book based on like my life experiences. And so when it comes to a trained professional, it doesn't take them long to look at someone and like be able to diagnose them. So I just want to like, even though, we don't want to armchair diagnose, doesn't take long.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird feeling of like extreme like sadness and also just extreme like just feeling so validated, because the only thing that's really been keeping me going is again like those like just diary entries that I had when it first started where I'm like, no, this was real. Like I wasn't treated well. I was treated like shit, and honestly I let myself get treated like shit, and like this has really expanded my viewpoint on these cycles I find myself in with the types of people I find myself like getting involved with and the types of people that I'm attracted to. Because like you said, like we tend to emulate the feelings that we got with our primary caregivers. And a lot of my childhood was that feeling of never being good enough. And so, it was devastating. And mind you, I didn't go to the therapy appointment even ever saying the N-word, the narcissist word, sorry.
Yeah, the other N-word,
Fuck.
the really bad N-word.
God,
The only N-word we will say.
Stop. Gosh, it was definitely a fucking trip. I, again, went into it not wanting to think that it was true. And it was just very validating to hear that.
So can we backtrack a little bit? Because I know a lot of people want to get into therapy. Don't worry, we're going to talk about like if you can't afford therapy, other great resources. But like, how did you like find your therapist? Because it sounds like you like your therapist. So like, how did you find your therapist?
Yeah.
So you can walk people through that. Because you had to walk me through finding a therapist, and then I just ended up stealing yours.
Oh, there you go. There's this website called Psychology Today. I think it's called Psychology Today. I'm pretty sure.
It is. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Cool. And it's basically like LinkedIn or Facebook for therapists. So it's great because you get to look at their profiles and see what they like specialize in and other categories they're, in. So some people only do marriage counseling. Some people specialize in trauma. Some people specialize in PTSD. And so you get to go through that list. You also get to see what they look like, be a brief bio, and see again what they stand for, I guess, politically. And that's something I really look for in therapists, as well as making sure that we're on the same track as far as like, you're cool with me being kind of gay, right? Like that would be great. And just what was it like? Yeah. So that standpoint, the religious standpoint is also really important for me. So it's a good like small introduction to who you're meeting up with instead of just completely like blind dating it. But basically you're just going to go ahead and like, there's a section where if you do want to book with them, you'll leave a brief like description as to why you want to go to therapy and what you're looking for. And then they will get back to you. And if they're not accepting new clients, it also tells you that, which is great. But it is possible to get on like a wait list or something. So that's how I found my therapist.
And then how do you like your therapist?
I fucking love my therapist. Obviously, it has been one session. I went last week and she's great. It's very typical to go through this placebo happiness, though, so I'm still kind of wary. But so far, so good. She's great. She's the right amount of aggressive that I needed. Because I think some people really do well with a like soft approach with therapy, but what I needed, especially in this situation, was that I don't know, when I said a certain thing, she like ended it quick. She nipped it right in the bud and said, no, like I think I said something about how like I should have known better and that like that's what I get for being vulnerable. And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, no way. And that was like super sweet. And she gives me homework and I love it and it's great. But like I said,
can you expand on what, like, obviously within, whatever you're comfortable with, like what kind of homework like you get for therapy? So that way for people that aren't familiar with therapy or have never had a therapist give them homework, like that can be something that's helpful to know. It was
super cool. Okay, so just as a brief like backstory to what the homework was, part of the reason why I was in there or, going back to therapy is because, yes, I am like trying to heal from that journey. And one of the things that we are really focusing on too is like readjusting my, I guess, self-image and my trying to get my self-esteem back up to par and my self like inner thoughts, like my inner monologue and stuff. And so the the homework that she gave me, she took out these 2 sheets of paper and they were filled with words. And she said, okay, without thinking too hard about it, I need you to circle 20 words and I need you to do it fast. And so every time I would stall on a word, she'd be like, oh, quick, go quick. And so like, yeah, that's what I mean by like the perfect amount of aggressive, I guess. So I circled 20 words and then we smushed it down into 10. And by the way, out of my 20 words, she's all like, like 5 of these are rooted in trauma. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So we, condensed it down to like 10 or 9 or whatever. And so my homework now is to, I guess, draw symbols of what those words mean to me, which is really fucking interesting. And I know I'm not supposed to do this because I'm technically supposed to be the student. I'm just supposed to go along with it. But I'm like, that's smart. What are you going to get out of this? Because the way that I visualize things in my head is going to tell her how I actually feel and think about said things. It was really fucking smart. So yeah, that's the homework that I'm getting.
You had another homework assignment too.
Yeah.
I'm not letting her get away from this.
Fuck, dude. Okay, so this one's really hard because, again, we're trying to focus on rebuilding my self-esteem. Because I really feel like I liked myself before I got involved with this person.
You had a great self-esteem because that's what helped me build my self-esteem.
Oh, thank you.
Which is why now I feel like don't have to, but I would like to return the favor of building your self-esteem back.
I appreciate it.
Because you helped me heal a lot of wounds from my narcissist. So.
Oh, God. Yeah, I really did feel like I really liked myself before this. And now I'm just kind of like going through the motions, feeling like a zombie. But the other piece of homework that I had was, and she made me do this in front of her, which is fucking brutal. It's the 5-to-1 thing. And I guess it's from the Gottmans, which is great.
Yeah, I can explain that.
Yeah.
So the Gottmans have a theory, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but it's a system. And it's that for every like one negative thing you say to a person, it takes 5 positive things to be able to change like that negative impact. So if I say like, you're a piece of shit, and then I only say, you're actually a really great person, she's going to remember that I called her a piece of shit. That's it. So it's going to take me 5 times of enforcing the fact that I indeed do care about you, that I do think you're great, that I don't think that you're a piece of shit. And even then, like that double negative, like I don't think you're a piece of shit.
Doesn't count, right?
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it has to be.
So
like
we've been talking a lot about that because
right.
both of them are in therapy, like Caboose and her, talking about how that they use really negative self-talk. We'll get back to that though. But the Gottmans is for every one time you say something shitty. And I do like that she's having you address it with yourself because you are in a relationship with yourself.
Yeah. So that was something that she did preface. She was like, listen, this is mostly only for this was built for couples, but I think it's really important for you to do on your own, especially if we're trying to rebuild that relationship and that connection with yourself. Cause I did just lose myself there. I lost literally all sense of self. So that was cool. But basically, she had me do this fucking in front of her. She was like, okay, say one critical thing about yourself. And I said it so quick, so fast, so easy. And then she's like, okay, now I want you to say 5 positive things about yourself. 5 things that you like about yourself. And technically I had to do 6 because one of them didn't count.
Then you didn't technically do 6.
Yeah, it was...
Because it didn't count.
Dude,
you did 5. And then one not real thing.
I was sobbing by number 1. It was like really intense and super hardcore, but it has been great-ish. Yeah. Obviously, it is painful, but it's hard for a reason.
Do you think you could express one thing you like about yourself right now?
Fuck. By hard, I mean, this is actually difficult for me.
It's allowed to be difficult. That's okay. You can just think about it for a second.
One thing I like about myself, I like the fact that... Oh, God.
You got it. I believe in you. I know that anyone listening to this is listing off a plethora of things they like about her, but this is also what happens. Like I said, like I grew up in a narcissistic household, and it is that systematic breaking down of an individual is how they operate, and they know what they're doing. Like, and that's why they do it, because when they break you down, that's how they have power over you. Then you have to slowly rebuild, which is what she's doing.
Right.
I bought you some time, bro.
You really totally did, and I am still really fucking struggling. I like that I am financially responsible.
You are.
Thank you.
I also love that about you.
Thank you. I like that I'm financially responsible. That's weird to say out loud, but yes.
Why?
I don't know. I just never owned up to it.
I met you and you had a fucking savings account.
Thank you.
We went to Target earlier and you didn't spend $500.
No, I did not. I really held back.
You didn't buy anything you didn't need.
Yeah, it was literally all things
we're saving money right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's one thing you like about yourself?
I like my determination.
Fuck yeah.
That when I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But like it's that true, like...
It's that grit. It's that fucking...
Yeah. That I'm like, oh, you're going to do this? Okay, well, you're going to do it.
Yeah. 100%.
And I don't know how to turn it off, but I like that about myself because it means I get a lot of shit done.
No, that's dope. Okay, well, circling back to, I guess, finding a therapist. Now you know psychology today is a thing, but something that I wish I had known before I tried therapy for the first time is really sitting down with myself and A, asking what are my intentions in therapy, and B, what do I want to see in a therapist? That's fucking huge because that's not something I ever fucking thought about. I was kind of just like, I don't know, maybe if we vibe well, that'll be great. But that is so fucking important. And one of the things that I wanted you to talk about was what Insight had said about one of the questions you should ask your therapist.
Yeah. So once again, I'm going to plug Insight Podcast. It'll be in the show notes. I am obsessed with this podcast because it's done by therapists. And I loved the fact that she was saying to interview your therapist, make sure you guys are on the same page, because one of the women on there handles a lot of people who dealt with narcissism or narcissistic abuse, and some narcissists, but very few narcissists will ever actually see and or know they're a narcissist. So it's very rare that you will find a narcissist in therapy, and especially if a therapist is able to like explain to them that they are indeed a narcissist. Instead, they're going to run around that word as much as humanly possible. But one of the things that she says when finding someone is asking your therapist or your potential therapist how they feel about forgiveness. Is forgiveness a crucial part of healing, of your healing journey to this therapist? Because the idea of forgiveness being the like end all be all of like healing is stemmed from Christianity. Like it stems from that. And this idea of like, you have to just be at peace with everyone. And that is not true. You do not have to forgive someone that has abused you. You don't have to forgive anybody.
You don't technically owe anyone anything.
Exactly. Your healing is not diminished by forgiveness for another person. You can understand that they were repeating cycles. You can understand that they were unaware of behaviors. You can understand like that they are just having that generational trauma, but that does not mean that you need to forgive them for the vile, nasty shit they did to you. So that to me was like a huge thing because I also just learned that recently on that podcast. I was like, oh, fuck.
So I'm guessing that forgiveness is not a key part in your healing.
No, absolutely
There
not.
we go. Good.
No,
I just
I'm
wanted to be
not,
very clear
like,
and make sure.
you know,
If
my
it's your cup of tea,
husband's-
it's your cup of
yeah.
tea. That's fine.
My husband's life was threatened. I was basically accused of incest. Like, absolutely not. This person does not deserve my forgiveness, and I do not need to forgive someone who continuously inflicted pain. And the difference as well, let me just add this tiny little caveat in there, is that when you tell a narcissist that they hurt you, they will invalidate that in a heartbeat. They will try to skirt responsibility there, where they'll be like, well, I'm sorry I made you feel this way. Or, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. But it is not a case where they actually reflect and go, oh, shit. And then when you bring it up, or like, I've already told you about this, they will act like that you've never told them. And they will tell everyone else, you never told them. And then that's where like the journaling helps, because that allows you to then look back and be like, oh, shit, all of that was part of like what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so forgiveness, absolutely. That does not have to be a part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling like sick to my stomach talking about this, but it is supposed to be a good episode because I am really stoked that we're in therapy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not in therapy. I'm in self-therapy.
You're in self-therapy, which we'll for sure talk about. Yeah, forgiveness. I mean, honestly, if it's your cup of tea, great. Find a therapist that will agree with you. That's kind of what I wanted to say. But if it's not your cup of tea and your therapist thinks that, like, I don't know, it's like the last stage of your healing journey is forgiving this person, it's really important for you to find that out now. So that way you're not at that last stage of your healing journey and being like, oh shit, what? You never said that, like, I'm going to have to like be cool with this person.
Yeah, make amends or like, break a contact situation.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So just be sure that you ask your therapist that question. And then again, like if they don't already like have it listed on their like, Psychology Today profile, it is important to know like, hey, like I am not comfortable with bringing up God in our conversations. I'm very big. That's a very big no-no for me. I have too much religious trauma for that. I don't want to go into it. Quite frankly, I would much rather just deal with my issues and not bring that whole thing into it. Now, do I believe in the universe and am I spiritual? Yes, absolutely. But I just don't want that. And so that's really important for you guys to find out as well, because you never know.
Yeah. So remember that like that first session is not you trying to like prove to your therapist you need to be there, deserve to be there. It is made for both of you to like feel each other out.
Yeah, it's a very consensual thing. Like, it needs to be a very
a symbiotic relationship.
There we go. Symbiotic. Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Totally forgot. But yeah, that's, just important things to know before you find a therapist.
Yeah, because you've been through a couple therapists like over the years.
Yeah, I've had, okay, so I guess technically over the span of everything, I've had like 4 therapists. But I stopped going to therapy for like a year, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Before this last thing. And I have one bad experience with a therapist that I would like to share, just in case that you guys are worried about that. The worst thing that happens is, yeah, sure, you're a little freaked out when you're talking with this person, but don't schedule with them just because you're there. Don't reschedule another appointment just because you're there. I once went to a therapy appointment after my cousin had gotten murdered, and she, when I told her the situation, like why I'm here, responded with, that is absolutely terrible. That's horrible. The cruelty of that, the injustice. I cannot imagine the kind of pain that you're going through. And I was like, oh my God. And I don't respond well to that. Okay. Some people might need that and need that validation of like, yes, it is really that bad. But me, when you put me in a position where I feel like I needed to comfort you, no, I can't do that. And so we just didn't groove at all whatsoever. And at the end of our session, she asked if I wanted to schedule another one. And I just said no. So just don't force yourself into therapy when that therapist isn't working out for you. Now, mind you, I was scarred enough to not go to therapy for another 6 months after that, but I'm happy I still made an effort to. So you will when you're ready.
Yeah, because you really liked your next therapist.
I did.
Or I guess more accurately, our therapist.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, because
we'll call him Paul.
Paul. It might sound weird. I started going to therapy with Paul, and then we did therapy for like a year or something. And originally it was for grief, and then I had a bunch of fucking life events happen after that. So he was helping me through my, like, a lot of major crisis events that were happening. And Gaia was looking for a therapist, and I'm like, oh, like my guy could probably give you a referral, and then he just took her on as a client.
Yeah.
But it was very different because we hit, obviously we're two very different people, and this is a really good story to tell because you might not always groove with the same therapist. So I think we had talked about this. You plateaued pretty quick.
Yeah, I saw him for, I think it was just over 3 months. And it was like every week, every other week. I think at first it was every week, and then it was every other week. And I mean, he did give me some like tidbits that I really liked, but he was more of a like gentle like therapist. And then by the end, I spent one entire session just talking to him about the weather. I spent another session listening to him, like he was in the process of moving and buying a house, and we just talked about that for like 30 minutes. And it's just that I also need a really aggressive therapist. I need one that's going to like yell at me. That like,
I don't need that level.
Yeah. Mine's a little bit more extreme. So instead I stopped going to him. But I was still like appreciative of it.
Yeah.
I still to this day think it's a bit odd that he saw both of us because he knew we lived together. He knew we were best friends. And I definitely talked about you. And he was like, well, I just can't tell you each other like what you guys say. Because I asked him that first day, I was like, this isn't a conflict of interest. And he was like, no, I just can't like discuss it amongst you. And I was like, that seems odd, but whatever. And I got some good like tidbits out of it. But it definitely wasn't like an end all be all for me. It was just like this is great in this moment to have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
But I am a person that needs homework, and he didn't want to do homework.
He wasn't the type either. Yeah.
No, he wasn't digging in. For me specifically, it wasn't digging into like family of origin trauma. Like we did not cover any of that. Like, and to be very clear, he did explicitly say on the first day that his goal in therapy is not for people to like spend years with him. It's to get people to be functioning in their everyday life. So it is to help people through a crisis and then get them back into everyday life.
Yes, which thank God he was really good at that. I would say,
and like
he pulled me out of some shit.
Yeah, and that's his passion. So it makes sense why we didn't vibe, because I wanted someone to like ask me hard questions and do all that. And at that point, I didn't know about interviewing your therapist either.
Yeah, right. And it's huge because obviously, yeah, you did leave with some good info. But do you feel like do you feel like it ended at the right time, or do you think it lasted a little bit too long?
It definitely lasted too long because, like I said, we had the last several sessions we spent the first 20 to 30 minutes just talking about him.
Yeah.
And I also didn't know that wasn't like the norm.
Oh, I would have to fight myself to not ask him how he was. Because I'd be like, how are you? He's like, good. And then he'd be like, how are you? Like, and then that was my opening thing to like actually like just vomit out what I was going through. But to be fair, I think I was going through a lot more crises through that. So I always had something new to tell him.
Yeah, I did not. So we talked about like horses and like the difficulty of moving. And we talked a lot of personal stuff that was not my personal stuff. So, so it was just one of those, which before anyone shits on this person, that's also just a relationship that I have with most people. So like I tend to go through hairstylists fairly often for that same reason, because then I end up being like trauma dumped on, same as massage therapists. If I see them more than 3 or 4 times, then typically there have been a couple exceptions over the years. They will end up spending the entire time massaging me, just telling me things.
Yeah.
My clients do the same thing. Like this face, not only does it get blamed for everything, but it also will know all of your deep, dark secrets. So I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, Paul was a fucking asshole for that. Nope.
No, he's great.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and I think he was great because I got a lot out of him, honestly. I got way more, I think. And I did plateau with him, but it was after like an extended period of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was way longer for me.
Because he did what he said he was going to do with you, which was to get you through those things and get you functioning. Yeah. And you were functioning in your everyday life.
Which thank God, because I genuinely do not know how I like drove places. Like I just had so much fucking shit going on in my life that I was just like, holy fuck. So he was my life raft. But with that being said, yeah, obviously it really just depends on how you and your therapist are. I mean, I hate to compare everything to dating, but it's like, finding a new person to date. You have to see if the vibes are right, or like finding a gym. That's what you've been saying.
So, the comparison, because obviously I'm out of the dating game, and I have been for a long ass time. Our anniversaries in like a week. I
just benched myself.
Yeah, she's currently out of the dating game.
I'll be benched until we move.
Yeah, and figure out like how to not repeat those cycles.
100%.
So for me, I like to think of therapy a lot like finding a coach in a gym, and that's it. That like I personally don't carry any longer. I'm sure I did carry stigma around like, oh God, if I go to therapy, then like what will people think? And now I definitely see it as they are just a coach for your brain. So just like, because I like to try a lot of different sports, we all do. Like Caboose has recently started jujitsu, and he needs to go to a jujitsu gym in order for him to be able to learn those skills. So like for you, overcoming like the generational trauma, but also the situation you were in with narcissism being a huge like underlying thing, you also needed that extra coaching to help you through that.
Yeah, because that like, again, there's nothing wrong with like also self-help, like self-therapy, which we'll dive into that as well. But it came to a point where all my self, like, I guess, knowledge that I was expanding to, again, I just hit a roadblock.
Yeah.
I just hit a major wall, and I couldn't get past the fact that, like, sure, it looks like I'm doing better, but do I feel better? No, I feel like fucking shit. Every day I feel like fucking shit, and I just don't. I had such a hard time, and I was so fucking frustrated with myself because I just didn't understand why I could miss someone that made me feel like absolute shit about myself and shattered my fucking confidence. And like, I was literally the most unconfident version of myself when I was like with him. And,
but that's that generational trauma coming up.
Yes, 100%.
That's that repeating of the cycle of how you felt as a kid that you were never good enough.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where like a therapist can come in and help give you the tools.
Well, she did say something that really did help the both of us. It just in passing, and she was just like, listen, like, because I was, explaining to her all these frustrations that I had around this situation of healing. Like, I'm supposed to be healing, but I feel like fucking shit. And she was just like, well, to be fair, like, when you deal with people like that, they're like fucking vampires. They will go ahead and suck like 90% of the blood out of your body and just keep you alive for, enough in order to get another hit later. And then when you separate yourself from that, it's going to take a while for your body to replenish. So body being like, I guess your emotional state or whatever. Yeah. It's going to take a minute for everything to replenish
your
itself.
actual body, because your actual body was under so much stress that like you were, not treating your actual body well because your brain wasn't in a place where you could even think properly.
Oh my gosh. I was 100%. And I explained this to my therapist too, like abusing alcohol. And it was just as a means to keep myself, I guess, compliant or something. It was a means to like shut the voice out. And I didn't go to the gym, and I just like really let myself go. And now I'm in my sober-ish era, which is great and very interesting. But yeah, it was a lot.
That's the thing, is that like your body and your brain are truly connected. But so if we think about it in the sense of like, same thing with a gym. Yeah. That if you want to learn a new skill, you need to find a coach to be able to do that. Now, yes, there are people that can watch videos and learn strictly from that. And I don't think getting outside like resources hurts at all. I right now am personally in a place where I'm not looking for a therapist. I am doing great unlearning about my ADHD and my autism. Yep. And like how I can survive in everyday life and not have as many like upsets just through podcasts, books, credible fucking sources, not jackasses just like having a podcast, but like us, but like us. Actual like credible sources, not just people like, we won't name people, but certain individuals that feel that they can just talk about everything. That are, I won't say it because then he'll come back with a lawsuit because he's a fucking celebrity. But we all know those celebrity males that like to go on and talk about shit. Yeah. So like when it comes to that, it's finding credible sources and then get what you can out of that. But if you do reach that point, same thing with training. Like I personally think that like it's a bit crazy to learn how to Olympic weightlift at home. Right. Like with no sort of coach. Because if you know anything about Olympic weightlifting or jujitsu, if you're just at home watching videos being like, I can do jujitsu, what the fuck? You're going to hurt somebody.
Pretty hard to, yeah.
Yeah. Like, not only is that not a singular person's sport, but same as Olympic weightlifting, you need that specialist. So being able to take that knowledge and then go to a specialist when you need extra help. Same thing with coaching, same thing with fitness. So in where like we start to think about like, oh no, you went back to therapy, things must be bad. Nope, it's just that, hey, I haven't been in a gym in a while, but I'm feeling less motivated. I'm just kind of feeling stuck the same way you were feeling in your brain. You hit a roadblock and then you go back to a gym when you need that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not to say that that's the only way to do it, because once again, I don't have a therapist. I also don't have a gym right now. I'm working out in the garage, but that's also because like what I'm learning about myself currently is that I can't be in a gym.
Right.
It's, you said it perfectly this morning when we were talking about it, that it's too overstimulating for me. So my intensity actually goes down in a communal setting because I'm too busy focusing on people skimping reps, aka cheating. I don't give a fuck. You're cheating. It's fine if you admit it. If you're like, nah, dude, I can't do that. That's fine. Or
if you're like, oh, whatever, I'm going to go scaled or...
Yeah, that's really fine. I'm not going to shame people on that.
That's what I did for this workout.
Which, that's totally fine. You got to work within your own means.
Yeah.
But I also get really frustrated in gyms because people make noises. Once again, I'm aware people make noises, but that's a me thing. I also don't work well with people being sweaty around me. So at this point in time, I now know that like a lot of the struggles I had in gyms just mean that that's not a good place. And if you would have told me 2 years ago that I would be so fucking happy working out in my garage, I would have not believed you, because I was heavily reliant, in a good way, not a bad way, but it's heavily reliant on that community of a gym. So you have to find what's going to work for you for that moment. And I really want that to be the same thing that people think about mental health, is that if reading books are helping you right now, fuck yes, do it.
Yeah.
If going to a therapist is helping you right now, fuck yes, do it. The caveat to that, I guess, to all of that is do the fucking work.
Well, yeah, the caveat to all of that is like, sure, I'm trying to think of everything more as a resource and less as like literally anything else, because there is a lot of weird stigma around like self-help books or like listening to podcasts or self-diagnosis or whatever.
We also will have an episode on self-diagnosis, by the way.
For sure.
Because even her therapist said it was fine.
Yeah, again, I know it was just one session, but I really do enjoy her. And she's helped a lot. But yeah, I'm trying to think of everything as resources. And so find a resource that works for you.
In your current state. That's gonna change.
Right. Oh, and that's what I was trying to say. Find a resource that's gonna work for you, and be really intentional about taking those resources and applying them outside of the chair or outside of the book. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people do go to therapy, or like you could say this too, a lot of people go to the gym just to say that they go to the gym, but you don't really see a difference, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you have to go full bodybuilder level, or like I have to go and fucking become a therapist after this or anything like that. I'm just saying that like there should be some, like, I guess for me at least, active change in your life. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to get my spark back, man. I want to feel like myself again, and I want to like myself again. So
yeah, we just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that like there isn't one correct path.
Yeah.
No path is better than the other one. But like I love how you say that. Like it's all just resources.
It's all just resources.
To me, it's all just tools. It's just ways to gain knowledge.
Yeah. Because people do get weird about like self-help books too. Like, you don't have to go to a therapist. Wow, must be fucking nice, or like whatever. But honestly, just do whatever fucking works for you. Who cares?
Yep. For me, it's like, I don't know, 1 million hours a week of different
podcasts
and books.
And yeah. And that's the thing, is like, it works for you. And you just need to find what works for you. And if you don't think you need therapy, I've just got a little bone to pick. I think that everyone's fucked up. Maybe just try it out. Maybe just see what's going on. See what they say. I don't know. So that's my 2 cents. But yeah, I think that's it, or at least on my end. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about as far as therapy goes?
Absolutely not. I think we covered all of it.
Yeah, I think we did. I don't think I have anything else to cover either. I'm just really, you know what? I'm really excited to go back to therapy. Yes, I was nervous recording this episode, but I'm pumped. So there's that.
Awesome. So that being said, what's your win for the week?
My win for the week is What is my win for the fucking week? My win for the week is going back to therapy. Yeah,
Nice.
I went and did my first appointment, and I was fucking nervous. And also, it's in a building that was really fucking hard to find. And it's always scary doing that, but I was out of my comfort zone, and I really did feel like, okay, you know what? This is like a step in the right direction. You're showing up for yourself again, and that's what fucking matters. So that's my win for the week.
Nice.
What's your win for the week?
My win for the week would probably be, we did a group workout with our teammates that we're going to do a competition coming up in August. And I was really nervous because my partner is like super fucking fit and goes to a CrossFit gym. And I was like, dude, you're going to fucking, like, you work out in your garage.
And we
It's
love the
gonna
both
suck.
of them.
We do,
We
yeah.
can just say their names, right?
Sure.
Shout out to Ben and Javier.
Yeah. So Ben's my partner, and I was very, very nervous that I would not be able to like kind of keep pace, just because there is that like stigma that we have
Of
that,
working out at home.
Yeah, the like, well, you're just fucking working out at home, so how is that going to compete? So I think for me, it was really like cathartic to be like, oh shit, no, you can like hang in there, like,
And you've kept your intensity, and you've kept like the grind, and like you said, you thought you were gonna lose it, but no.
yeah, I thought for sure that I was like, dude, I'm not going to be able to like compete at the same level I could when I was actively going to a CrossFit gym. And honestly, I felt fucking better. Like now I honestly feel better than I've ever felt.
Yeah.
I am leaning out for said competition just to make like body weight movements easier. But like I feel, I know I'm stronger than I was.
I never thought that I would be doing CrossFit workouts with 30-pound dumbbells, and I'm finally here, and it's been nuts and so fun.
Yeah.
And
And
again,
she steals the 30s, so that means I have to do 35s.
this is what happens in this household. We've talked
Yep.
about it. Every time somebody goes up in weight, the rest of us have to follow, especially if it's me.
Yeah.
Because you guys really have no choice.
Yeah, she digs the weight, and I'm like, well, gotta go up.
Yep. 100%. So yeah, that was good. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you want to share something you like about yourself,
Please do, because it's
love
fucking
that.
hard, and if I had to do it, you do too. So
Yeah.
share something you like about yourself in the comments, or DM us, or send us a voice memo. We love
yes,
a voice
we
memo.
love voice memos.
And let us know what you think about therapy. If you're in therapy, if you want to go to therapy, if you are a therapist,
And you want to be on a podcast?
please hit us up. We would
What
love
up?
to have you.
And other than that, thank you guys so much. We love you, and we will see you back next week. And I think we are doing a new question game, the
Yes.
one by Esther Perel.
Ooh.
It has a name, but I just can't remember it.
Isn't she also? She's a therapist, right?
She is, yeah.
Gosh,
You'll
we
hear me
are-
talk a little bit about Esther. I love her.
Yeah, we are just really on theme today.
Yep.
So we'll see you
we're
guys
just
soon.
keeping that therapy. Love you guys. Bye.